Hi, so I'm going to do a video here where I'm going to pick out 3 films from my slasher collection that I consider to be either rare or hard to find or just obscure that perhaps not many people talk about. Third video in a series, but it's been about a year since I did the last one, so it's I guess you could say it's overdue. So to start out with, we're going to look at this one from the year 2000, a South Korean slasher film called Record. This is not really hard to find or rare, it's more just obscure. You can find it fairly easily on sites like eBay, but as you can guess, if you just type in record or the record, you get a load of like vinyl stuff or music stuff. So you've got to be quite specific, typing, Korean slasher 2000, the record, things like that to get it to pop up. But they do come up fairly often, and they're not very expensive either. So it's more obscure than rare. But to go into the storyline of this one, it's a revenge prank gone wrong style slasher, starting with a shy loner type teenager who is lured into an isolated cabin by a group of his classmates. That the guy doesn't realise it. The plan of the others is to kind of shoot a fake snuff type film, which they're planning to upload to a kind of video sharing site much like YouTube. Attacking our victim with a fake knife, something goes wrong and he ends up getting stabbed for real. And thinking that they've killed him, the students decide then to just get rid of the body by burning it in this case, instead of actually going to the police or the hospital or taking him to the hospital or what have you. So they light the fire and try to burn the body, but in doing this, the guy actually springs up and he's not dead after all. He's covered in flame though, and he kind of blindly stumbles over this cliff edge, and they assume plummets to his death. So, thinking that he's definitely dead now, if not before, the group decides to just go ahead with the original plan of leaving the whole thing and not reporting it to the police. So they just go about their lives. And as you can guess, sometime later, someone shows up to punish them for what they did. So pretty typical stuff. That's the back, by the way. It's all in kind of Asian text, but I can confirm this version does have English subtitles. I don't remember much about it, to be honest, because it's quite a long time ago that I watched it, so I definitely need to give it a rewatch at some point. But I remember it being fairly decent. The killer had a good disguise. It was a bit unrealistic though and silly in places, but on the whole not too bad. One of the better Asian slashers that I've seen. Not that I've seen a huge amount of them, but one of my favourites of those that I have seen. So that's the Record from the year 2000, South Korea. Next one is a bit of an older one, Dance with Death. This is, I believe, a 1992 slasher film. It's one of several kind of dancing themed slashers that came out around the sort of late 80s, early 90s, or stripper slashers, I perhaps should say. And this one follows a female reporter named Kelly who goes undercover as an erotic dancer at a strip club in order to solve a series of unsolved murder cases in which strippers have been targeted. While undercover, she teams up with a hunky young police officer, and the pair soon begin to work together to try and crack the case. But the more they uncover, they sort of unwillingly put themselves in danger, in particular Kelly, who puts herself very much in the firing line of the killer. I did enjoy this one. The best things about it, from what I can remember, were a very likeable final girl in Kelly. She did a really good job. And there's also a decent amount of suspects. So for the whodunit angle, they gave us quite a lot of options as to who the killer could be. So that worked well. And there was an exciting finale. The last quarter of the film was probably the best by a considerable margin. On the negative side, there were quite a lot of lackluster deaths. They didn't really do a very good job there. And it was somewhat unrealistic at times, as well as there being an unexplained bit. I won't go into too much detail, but there was a clue that someone left for Kelly at the newspaper office where she worked, and it was never explained as to who left it, so it was a bit of a plot hole there. But on the whole, it's pretty decent. I would recommend this one. It's probably my favourite of the 3 that I'm showing in this video. It is still fairly plentiful on sites like Amazon and eBay, but it is a bit expensive. There's lots of them for sale, but you'll probably have to pay sort of in what I'm English, so for me, I'm just going to mention English money. It's usually cost about £30 to £50, so it's pretty pricey, but you can find them easily on the internet. So that's Dance with Death. And the last one for this video I'm going to show is this one here, Dead 7 from, I believe, the year 2000. And this one I think is really hard to find now in physical copy, as you see here, so it's hard to get as a DVD, but I think you can rent it on Amazon Prime. And the story here is that it kind of follows 2 gangsters who dispose of a body in like an old mine shaft in the woodlands. But as they're doing this, they're observed by a young deaf and dumb boy who lives out in said woods with his hermit hippie sister. So they realise that he's watching them, so to eliminate any witnesses, that these 2 guys decide to throw the boy down the shaft as well after the body. seeing that he'll kind of not be able to call for help, they figure that he'll just die down there. So it kind of kills him without them having to actually do it themselves. And several months later, the boy's sister is obviously distraught over his disappearance, and we come to find out that she's been dabbling in the occult. And this sister seems to have set loose some sort of an avenging and in the early stages an unseen figure who sets out to punish the two gangsters, and indeed their girlfriends, who are a bit more innocent than they are, sort of back in the city area. So it's a kind of, again, it's kind of standard stuff. It's fairly cliche, but it was a decent film. It wasn't as good as the Dance with Death that I've just shown, or probably not as good as The Record either, but it was not too bad. It's quite a low budget film, like shot on video style. So for that kind of film, it wasn't too bad. It was one of in terms of the acting, it was slightly better than what you normally get in those sort of films. And there's also some decent special effects at times as well, taking into account the budget. On the negative side, though, the final girl was quite forgettable, and the hippie sister character I thought was really silly and kind of like poorly fleshed out, not very well written, and she came across as a bit embarrassing at times, to be honest. And that's the back of it. As I say, it's pretty rare now in physical copy. You can find it to rent though on Amazon, I believe. So that's that one, Dead Seven. Not really one that people talk about very much, but there it is. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Maybe do another one of these in the future, but I'm not sure when. But thanks for watching, and goodbye.